Garbage Game.
God, I'm so
Recording in
sad.
progress.
There's no more Cheez-Its, guys. We
Yeah,
have an
you ran
official
out.
announcement.
You ate them all.
We are officially run out, and you guys have had none of the Cheez-Its.
Only
All the
Oh.
Cheez-Its that have been consumed on this show have only gone to me.
Only took 2 months to go through all of them.
I know
Yeah.
it's been a lot of eating. I've been
our only
steadily
food.
eating away, and Ben's been working hard. We're joined again. Once again, we're playing Banjo Kazooie, but this time with a new announcement to bring out right off the gates. Our very own Ben here has been working on a video game. Well, Ben, would you like to tell him about it?
Sure. So the name is Punch It Deluxe, and the reason for the deluxe part is because it originally started as a little flash game. And
Yeah.
it got enough positive reception. I was like, yeah, I might as well just add some more features and just a little more UI. So
And it looks
yeah.
great. It has your
And-
classic Weird Riker style, the brand. I like that you're
Yes.
branding now with like the Weird Riker and everything.
yes.
And
Yeah,
if you guys don't know already, Reichert is Ben. Ben is Reichert, so you can look up his stuff. Probably by
Yes.
Googling just Reichert itself, but Weird Reichert is how to get to your actual website and everything.
Yeah, it's easy because there are other Reicherts, and first I get mixed up with the ski resort.
Oh, there's a
that
ski
has
resort
the
called
name.
Riker. I didn't know
Man,
that.
Reichert skis got nothing on the real Reichert. That's what I'm saying. Those guys are chumps. Those
wonder
guys,
if
they got to get out the game.
That must be their first name or last name. For me,
Yeah.
it's my middle name.
Where does that hail from? Where do you hail
Uh,
from? Good sir?
I'm not sure what country it comes from, but it came from my nana.
Oh,
I think it was her middle name, and it was very easy to find her when she lived in New York because you just look in the phone book for Riker, and there she was.
yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
a really unique name. I love it. Like I remember when we first met each other, even online. I was like, God damn, Riker, such a great username.
God
Now,
damn.
it's much better. Than,
That
it's
was my
much
first
better than
thought.
much better than my first or last name. Like my last name, Harris. There's about a billion of those.
Yeah, that one's pretty common.
Yeah.
But Reichert that's like I don't know.
What's
It's-
your guys' middle names?
Middle names.
Randall.
Randall, that's a dope name. But it
It's
does
my
remind
dad's
me
name.
of well, I mean, it reminds me of your dad, but also
Yeah, me too.
But also, wasn't that kid in Recess named Randall too?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I think of when I hear Randall.
He was like the kid
Yeah.
that like he's always
Yeah,
rubbing
the
his hands
steamy
together.
little,
Yeah.
the tattletale kid. Yes,
He's got like
Yeah.
a camel mouth.
yes.
He
it
had
was
a
also
very interesting lip.
everyone always says the Monsters Inc. character. I'm surprised you went to
Oh.
recess, but
Was that also his name?
yeah,
What? Oh,
the
yeah.
villain.
the villain, the purple
Yeah,
guy.
the guy who shifted colors or something. That's a cool
Yeah, he
movie.
could turn invisible technically or whatever.
Okay, that's a much better Randall, I think, to associate with.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a
I
fan
re-
of Recess, the classic Disney show?
I like Recess.
Well,
but
they're
I don't
both
th- but I don't-
villains.
But
They are
oh,
both
that's
villains.
true.
But one is well, I mean, one is Steve Buscemi, the other just looks like Steve Buscemi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Halloween episode of Recess? Do you guys remember that? It was like an
What
actually.
Remind me what happens because
It
I
was
might
one
have
of
seen
those because I watched all the cartoon shows as a kid. You know, like I watched
Mhm.
Disney Channel, I watched Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, everything, WB, Fox. You know, like all the
Yeah.
cartoon shows I watched. But like some of them had like Halloween specials that actually terrified and scared the shit out of me. But like Recess had this one where it was like the lunch lady, the whatever her Miss Krabappel or whatever her name was.
it. No, that's not it. But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the old lady's name was, that the
Miss
Randall
Finster?
kid. Yeah, Miss Finster. There-
I
there's
keep
like-
saying
Oh, she
Miss
wasn't the
Fin-
lunch lady, but yeah, I
she's,
know. what you're
she's just the she
She's
just keeps
the
law.
residential bitch in town.
Yes.
Everybody hates her, and Randall's the only guy who's like her friend or something.
Miss Finster, Miss Finster. Yeah.
Yeah. The Halloween episode, it centered around underneath the school. There's been like years of these not Miss Krabappel. Now I'm thinking Miss Krabappel. Miss Finster. Miss Finster has like her whole generations of her have worked at this school, and like they're all
Okay.
like coming back to life. So there was like
What?
kids that. Okay, so I'm explaining. I'm setting up I'm taking very long to set up this episode that literally no one will ever remember. But there's mining
I don't
kids.
remember this.
In Recess, there's a whole bunch of kids. Like there's factions that like have like a kingship and King
Yeah.
Bob or whatever.
Yeah. There's a monarchy.
Yeah, there was the miners.
The kindergartners are like tribal and feral.
They're absolute savages. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there was these two kids that were miners, and they would just dig holes and
Oh,
stuff.
Yes, yeah.
those two.
Yeah, there's an episode of the Halloween, the show where there's.
They dig
Halloween
up
episode.
bodies or something.
Yeah, they basically dig up like the dead bodies of Miss Finster's like living relatives, and then they're like, "We think we saw them move," and then they get scared, so they leave, and then the Recess main kids go down into this like the underground bunkers.
I don't know
like,
if this happened. I think you're making
No,
this
no,
up.
this is real.
No,
This
I'm
is
pretty
real.
sure I vaguely remember it, but
Oh,
none
what a
of those-
great
are any of
episode! We
those
all love it.
Are any of those episodes actually canon? Because I know there are some episodes that end really weirdly, but is there
that
like
one-
consistency?
That one, I think that actually is not. That one's not canon to the series because I believe Miss
Most of them
Finster
die.
and all her past iterations of her like melt or die or something at the end.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I can't. Usually Halloween episodes aren't canon.
Yeah,
Right.
just like
I
King of the
remember-
Hill. You know, they kill the guy.
No.
And it's just like, oh,
No,
what?
well, that was canon. It just was
What?
fucked up.
That's canon.
Well, yeah, he just dies, but like it's just messed up. But
So
he's not like a main character or anything.
So
it
Peggy
didn't
and
matter.
Luann in King of the Hill canonically watch someone die in front of them and they just
Oh.
don't
Yeah.
care.
The pig.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't mean
But-
to derail Ben on. I think he was going to bring up another Halloween episode. Of
no, I was
something.
gonna bring
Oh,
up. Well, go ahead. I was gonna talk about the Recess movie, but
Oh man,
no one remembers that one.
I remember that.
But no, I just remember in Recess, there's another episode where they talk about like the myth going on is that some kid got abducted by aliens, and it's like it's played up. It's like, oh yeah, it was a joke. Like, oh, it was all a joke in the end. They realize, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the episode, some kid just gets dropped off by aliens. He's like, oh, thanks for the ride, guys. Oh no, I'm gonna be late for class.
Yeah,
So I'm curious if that's canon. Like,
I think
does
that
stay-
is.
Okay.
I think aliens are canon.
Well,
Because
in
like
Recess, they have a
I-
gigantic laser in if the movie's
I was
canon.
gonna bring that up. In the movie, there's a laser that they're going to use to make it a permanent winter, so there's no
Oh,
summer
yes.
vacation.
Which is a weird concept since it
Yeah,
goes
just
by
destroy
month,
the
not by
planet.
the weather.
Yeah, but
Like,
I
like,
want
don't know.
school all year round.
yeah, that was the evil villain. He was like,
yeah, James
like-
Woods want to
yeah,
in school.
yeah.
He also played Hades in Hercules, right? Wasn't that the same
Yes.
guy? That was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good. He's got a good voice. He's got a really like nice voice to listen to. Very crisp.
Yeah, he plays Hades in every Kingdom Hearts games. Like he always
Does he?
reprises his role. Yeah. So
I
That's
wish.
cool.
I wish I could say the same about Danny DeVito.
If only. I mean, he never. I think after Hercules movie, it went to the person who voices Homer Simpson.
Danny DeVito has a lot.
Which is
Was it
interesting,
actually
'cause-
Homer Simpson?
I'm pretty sure.
Which is
Oh.
interesting because Danny DeVito plays Homer's brother in one episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, is he the one who has the car?
Yeah, the car built for
Oh.
Homer.
Simpsons has such like a. I mean, obviously it has a big place in everybody's heart, but you know what has a really special place is Simpsons Hit and Run. That's the.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to play that.
Oh, you never played it?
No, I have. I remember a long time ago when I rented it. I got to
Oh,
the
man.
last stage, which is when the aliens are invading. I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I never. The missions were too hard.
they are too hard. I never beat it.
They do
It's
get
just
crazy.
Too
The,
difficult.
the cheats are really fun though. I
Yeah.
love the cheats in that game. Do you remember in the old Cartoon Network days, like when Cartoon Network was like in its prime, like mid 2000s, I think, like mid 2010s? No, before 2010s. But like all the shows had like episodes that kind of like went into each other about aliens. Like there was like a Foster's episode.
the invasion special
Oh,
thing.
Yeah. And then TF2 copied them.
Yeah.
So they had like My Gym Partner's a Monkey with aliens, Camp
Ed and Eddie.
Laszlo, Ed and Eddie. Oh man, Ed and Eddie's was great. That one might have been the first one too.
No, the first one was Foster's Home, because that's when they because the aliens are obsessed with cheese, and I remember, and part of the thing was that Cheese, the character from Foster's Home, gets into like some sort of like what do they call them? The astronomy towers or whatever.
Oh yeah, big like
the
I know
what
what
do
you
they call
mean.
them? Planetarium or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. And they broadcast a signal saying cheese, and then the aliens are like cheese, cheese, or something like that, and that leads into the other episodes. Which
Right.
the only one that's not connected really is the Ed and Eddie one, because it turns out there's not actually aliens. It's just Rolf being weird again.
Wait, no, I thought it ends with
No,
the
no,
cul-de-sac
yeah,
being lifted into the
yeah,
sky.
What the hell? I don't remember that.
yeah.
But
It
Yeah.
does. It
oh,
ends
okay.
with them like, huh? I guess everything was all right, and then it zooms out, and their cul-de-sac is just being transported through space.
It's kind of the
that
same.
makes sense.
The aliens lift up like the cul-de-sac itself, the same way in Avengers 2, I think, with Ultron, how he kind of just like lifts a
yeah.
city up and like
Yes.
it just looks like a giant like
It was
Dragon
probably
Ball Z like
inspired by
floating island.
Ed and Eddie.
Dude, Ed and Eddie has some of like, I mean, early seasons like when they're like building like the city and stuff, or like they have they
Out of
trick
cardboard.
Rolf into thinking that he's in like his hometown. There's so many classic Ed and Eddies.
They don't
Yes.
trick him. Well, they do trick him, but it's a
He wants
it's
to believe
supposed
that
be
he's in his
a
hometown.
positive. It's a positive trick. They're not trying to scam him like usual. They're trying to. They're
Well,
trying
Eddie
to.
is.
Well, he
Because
is.
he scammed him to get like he sold him a shoe, one of Ed's shoes.
Well, no. He made him sniff Ed's shoes so he would not be knocked out by how the stench of it.
Oh yeah. He smells the shoe, and that's why he passes out, and then he wakes up in the hometown. There's so many classic episodes. Do you guys remember the original episode of Ed and Eddie that they were gonna end the show on?
Oh, where they're all old.
Yeah, that show. I watched that episode with our friend Giorgio. All three of us are friends with shout out to Giorgio out there, to the garbage gamer who's
the Giorgio army.
He refuses to get in the dumpster, but he's waiting outside patiently.
He has his own dumpster.
Yeah, he has his own, but he keeps it nice and pristine.
He's rich.
He's technically behind Ben right now. You just can't see him. But I remember I was watching that episode with Giorgio where they get all old as like kids, and it gave me like an existential crisis because I was like, oh my god, because the show makes you think about it in the sense where it's like, you know, like 50 years can pass by like that, and, you know, and then you're just like, my life's over. And then it gave me that like fear of dread when I was like 11 or something, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
I think it did the same thing as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when like cartoons
Can
bring
evoke
up
like such a reaction out of you.
Such a morbid concept.
Yeah,
I mean,
these concepts.
Well,
Kids.
It's interesting to see. I feel like there was another one that got me like that. There was so many episodes of Ed and Eddie that were like imaginative and like brought this like cool, like, you know, the one where like they're trying to figure out how things work,
Mm-hmm.
and they just keep deconstructing things, and then they go into like these weird
Abstract world.
yeah, it's like they're jumping into like a Van Gogh painting or something. It's like a weird that's a really great one too. I could just go on and on about cartoons. It's like,
yeah.
what were your top cartoons growing up?
Oh geez.
I was just talking to someone about this today. Like, what are your god tier cartoons? Because I'm sure we all have
God tier.
SpongeBob. Like, I'm sure the three of us have
Early
quoted
SpongeBob's
SpongeBob
great, yeah.
like back and forth 1,000 times.
Yeah, definitely Ed and Eddie is
Yeah.
at the top of my list. I really loved that show growing up as a kid.
Billy and Mandy was big for me, but I have not revisited in years.
I've
Yeah, I
been
watched
I rewatched a little bit of that, my wife and I. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting seeing her reaction because she didn't grow up with it.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Because like I feel like that's a show that really changed over time as well. Like the early episodes are a lot different from the later episodes, especially if you compare it to like when it was Grim and Evil, like those episodes.
Yeah, there was a lot more experimenting, I feel like, especially in Cartoon Network, like in that era, you know?
Yeah. But as far as top cartoons, I'm trying to think like Ed and Eddie, and there was also, honestly, I think a lot of other shows it was mostly just because they were on.
Yeah.
It just was on. Like, hey,
I watched
stuff
That's So
like that.
Raven all the time just because it was on.
Oh.
No, I never really watched Disney Channel all that much, so I didn't grow up with like a lot of those cartoons, like Proud Family or
Yes, the Proud Family.
I didn't really. That just got rebooted recently. I just
Really?
saw a clip
Oh.
of it on Facebook. It's
Oh,
releasing
man.
on Disney Plus. But
Does Oscar's snack still suck?
I have no idea.
One of the
if-
only things I remember about that show is the green girl. Oh no, not the gangrene gang.
The blue.
The blue green gang.
Sisters.
The blue sister. Yeah. And they might have just been called the blue sisters, but they just wanted money.
I don't know.
And they
I
would
never
just-
saw it.
They would just put their hands out and be like, "Give me money," you know. And
Yeah,
they
they
would,
kept extorting people.
yeah, they were an extortionist. Oh, I don't know why that reminds me of Hey Arnold. That was one of my favorites growing up too.
Hey Arnold was good. I really like Hey Arnold, but
Yeah.
like, it was also one of the more like grounded shows. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Well, I found that interesting just to see that amongst all the other ones that were so crazy and out there.
yeah. I mean, like, because I watched like everything on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network at the time, like back to Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
I mean that those are all the golden era of Nickelodeon. Like yeah, I think we've all seen those. Ben, did you grow up watching Pee-wee's Playhouse at all?
I did not. The first
Ah.
time I saw that, it was when it was airing on Adult Swim.
Wait. Oh, I didn't even know it aired on Adult Swim. That's awesome.
It did like temporarily. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
did
so
quite a
I'm
few.
like, oh, okay, this show isn't for me.
I feel like Pee-wee's Playhouse definitely like influenced and warped me and Peter's minds a lot. Like, cause me and him both grew up watching that. Like, I had the VHS. I think we
Yes.
both had the VHS.
We both had the VHS sets, and
Yeah.
well, I don't have them anymore. I have the Blu-ray set now,
Ooh.
of course.
Hey.
But yeah, it's interesting because that show was like this whole mix of mediums. They would show these old, like royalty-free 30s cartoons.
That's
on
why I'm
that.
thinking about it now because I'm like, honestly, if I'm thinking about like, because there's
Maybe
so many
not 30s,
cartoon
but,
shows, but like
old
that one stands
cartoons.
out. There's so many
Yeah.
different mediums and stuff in it.
And a lot of claymation and stop motion stuff. I mean, the whole opening is stop motion weirdness,
yeah.
and just a lot of weird sketches. And of course, they got like what's the name, Phil Hartman, and
Oh, and the guy who's in the Matrix, right?
oh yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. He's Skylar Curtis.
Lawrence Fishburne. There's a great scene, Ben. We'll have to show you a clip after this. Every so often, there's a guy who knocks on Pee-wee's door, and he used to scare
The
me
salesman?
as a kid. Yeah, the salesman. He had a big
Salesman.
head. Oh man, where do you think that outfit is right now? The guy who was in, like how it was a big mascot suit. Like someone somewhere in Hollywood owns the Pee-wee salesman costume, and I want that.
You want that? I'd rather have the bike from Big Adventure. That's in a museum somewhere,
Oh. Dude, we should go on our own adventure to steal the Pee-wee bike
though.
and make a movie about that.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be a good movie. Taking a bike that's a good movie idea.
That's basically the plot of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're right.
We're just doing the reverse.
Yeah. Well, no. Now we're stealing
So-
it back. If anything,
Okay.
it's the sequel.
Oh, okay.
We're creating the real life sequel, and we're gonna go to the Alamo, and we're gonna see Large Marge. And wait, Ben, have you seen the movie? I know you haven't. What? Oh, so you didn't grow up with the
I don't-
show?
I
You
don't-
didn't watch the movie?
I don't know anything
Oh.
about I didn't. Is it actually for kids?
Well,
Yeah.
the movie is for kids, except for one part, and this reminds me of how I was just bringing up the recess thing in the beginning, how it's like for kids, and then there's like one thing that just scared the shit out of me. But there's a part in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he's like, he's with this lady, Large Marge. I probably can't set up the scene as well as Peter. He's probably seen it a little bit more than me.
Yeah, he has to hitchhike with a trucker named Large Marge,
Oh, okay.
and she's describing this horrible accident that she witnessed,
Oh,
and she turns her head and she's like, the body looked just like this, and her head morphs into this weird claymation puppet.
yeah.
that, like-
yes, I've seen that clip.
Yeah.
When I saw that as a kid, I was in one of those like beach chairs in my parents' like basement, like, the playroom area, and I was in this like fold out beach chair, and I got so scared I had Coca-Cola in my hand or something. I was like all like hyped to watch Pee-wee. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. And then at that part, I had a full drink and I flung myself backwards, and I did like a somersault, like a backwards roll, and I just had the soda fall everywhere, and I was so terrified of Large Marge. What a great scene that was, though.
Tim Burton's first feature film.
Oh yeah, no man, that was the stylized scenes in that were really great.
Yeah, I always remember Large Marge didn't scare me that much. What scared me more was the scene where he's having the nightmare, and there's like thinking about the clowns that are coming out that are like,
Oh yeah.
and the Francis is dressed like a like the devil, and he's like, oh, down, and
Down,
they dip the bike in like lava or something. But
That scene always reminded me, or at least the part with the clowns, always reminded me of the end scene in Killer Clowns from Outer Space because it has a very similar look.
That's movie traumatized me as a kid because I caught
Really?
like one. Yeah, I caught like one scene. I caught one scene on TV of that, and it was when they're sucking the blood out of the cotton candy.
Oh man!
Because they wrap people in cotton candy, and then they put crazy straws in them, and they suck their blood out through a crazy straw.
Yeah, that was
which after I've seen. Which when I saw the movie later, I thought the whole thing was hilarious and amazing. But like when I saw it as a kid, I was like, that is terrifying, and I'm already afraid of aliens, like I think I mentioned before, and they're from outer space. So I was just like, fuck this. This is too scary. I couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah, I remember that was actually the first horror film I ever saw was Killer Clowns. I was with my cousins down in Middletown, New Jersey. Oh yeah, in Middletown, New Jersey.
What was the first horror movie you ever saw, Ben, if you can remember?
First horror movie. Honestly, it was probably when we got a TV and had access to the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, okay.
Because Sci-Fi Channel usually had a line of horror movies, and that was really stupid of me because my parents were like, "Oh, hey Ben, you're okay being left alone?" Or actually, we had people living with us. They lived in, like, our house was really big, so we just had converted a lower part of the house to another apartment, essentially.
Okay.
And they were family friends, and so they would always babysit me if I needed it. But they were just in another part of the house, the whole of the building, so it was just me, and my parents just left me alone. And I'm like, okay, well, what's on? It's like, I can either watch a bunch of murder mystery on the Discovery Channel, or I can watch all these horror movies on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh man!
And they were usually pretty bad. It's like usually ghosts and like, ooh, spooky ghosts,
right?
Movies or just monster movies. Like sci-fi does not have very good.
No.
Well, there's a couple gems, but yeah, for the most part, I think it's more so like the ideas are what scare you almost. Like the invasion of the body snatchers, the movie doesn't scare you as much as the idea that could be a thing, maybe, I guess. Or like the thing. You just don't know who's who.
Yeah, and the biggest thing was because it was usually a little bright out, but I forgot to turn the lights on in like the upstairs or downstairs.
Do you remember turning off the lights as a kid and like trying to run out the room as fast as possible because you're like so scared? You're like, oh god, they're right behind me.
Yeah. So watching horror movies did not help with that.
Yeah,
dude, horror movies, honestly, as a kid. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking back. All the things that scared me as a kid were cartoon shows. Jackie Chan Adventures. Jackie Chan Adventures was another great show, but also there's not a Halloween episode, but there's one where there's like a Dracula or something, like a vampire, and it scared me so bad. The lights were out in the basement that I was hanging out in when I watched as a kid, and I was on a VHS, so that when it ended the episode, it was like that was it. It cut off and the TV went blank. And the house was all black and just like empty. And I remember being up against like a wall, just like petrified that like there was a vampire behind. Because when you watch something as a kid, you're just like, oh, I watched it. Now it's behind me. I don't know why that was the mentality. But I was like,
did you?
If only I had those talismans. I need the talismans.
Yes, they had the talismans, and then later they had some other thing.
They
kept increasing.
Jackie Chan
they had the Shengong Wu equivalent.
No.
So
that was a great show too.
Season 1 was the talisman. Season 2, I don't know if it was I think it was like the puzzle box.
Okay.
Season 3 was the masks or something like that.
Yeah, it turns into Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, essentially. And then season 4, I think it might have been the talismans again, but they're actual animals.
Okay. Whatever.
So it shit got really crazy when the rooster and the pig at the state farm like teamed up because the rooster can fly and the pig can shoot laser beams. So it's the rooster's just making this pig is just on top of the pig, making it hover in the air, and the pig's just nonchalantly shooting lasers everywhere.
Why am I remembering this so vividly? What the hell? I think I really did watch every single cartoon. I don't think there's a
Yeah.
cartoon I didn't watch.
I mean, I even watched like, because when I was in Pennsylvania, they would have like the channel that showed like the not the older Disney cartoons, I guess, like Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, and like even had like the Sonic Adventure, of Sonic the Hedgehog, DuckTales, and what do you call it? Tailspin was another one.
Oh, he was the cool one, right? He was the pilot.
Yeah, it was Baloo from the Jungle Book, but he was a pilot, and it's weird. It's bizarre.
Whoa, there's a couple things that now I have to go check these things out now. I don't know why some things have been like so vivid in my head, and then like other things I'm like, what? There's no way.
It also had all the Disney cartoons that were like, they had the Hercules cartoon and the Aladdin cartoon.
Like a metaverse style where like everything was coming together.
No. It wasn't coming together. They had their own cartoons in their own universes.
Yeah.
The Hercules one, I think Hercules and Aladdin was my favorite because they always had Greek gods are very interesting, especially when you put it in like a Las Vegas setting.
Yes, they had a Lion King one too, where it was just Timon and Pumbaa.
Yes.
Oh, Cusco and Cusco's Academy.
That came later, so I kind of missed out on that one. I didn't watch that one.
Still a funny show. Oh, David the Barbarian. Did you guys watch that?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, I love that show.
My wife and I watched that a couple months ago. We started watching a few episodes. It's really fun.
Do you like the silly piggy?
Yes, Chuckles, the silly piggy.
He's a great character. I love the guy who he travels back and forth between time just to like show off his Game Boy or something.
Yes. Ned Freshman of the future.
Ned Freshman.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
He was almost that name reminds me of Phil of the Future. You guys ever see that? Were you guys into the live action shows? I know we were talking about cartoon shows for most of this episode. But...
Not so much outside of like Nickelodeon. Like I watched like Drake and Josh and
all the classic. What's the foot guy's name? Dan Hartman?
Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider. The foot king.
Amanda show. I watched all that.
Amanda show's great.
I watched like I even watched the Nick and Night George Lopez.
Low rider.
Gets a little higher. Yeah. I watched that a lot. I mean,
I've probably I don't know if this is embarrassing to say or not, but I'm pretty sure I did watch every episode of Full House.
Oh, dude! The intro I would blast the TV and I would belt my all the voice I had, all my lungs were going into that song. It was so great. Whatever happened to the evening TV?
That's one I never watched, so I can't sing it with you.
I think it's because it was the only thing that was on usually when I got sick. It's either this or it's either this or Scooby-Doo, and I really don't want to watch Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, that was another one. I watched every episode of Scooby-Doo. That was I watched all the movies and everything.
I remember I had a friend as a kid who was like, no, not you. It was what was the deal? It was like they couldn't watch anything violent and they couldn't watch Scooby-Doo, so they couldn't watch Looney Tunes because it was too violent, and they couldn't watch Scooby-Doo because it was too horror filled or something like that. And I was like, what can you watch? And they're like, nothing.
Nothing at all. Well, guys, if you can't watch nothing at all, if you can't watch anything, you can always go onto Steam. Steam.com? Right?
Yes.
Steam.com and check out Ben's new game, Punch It Deluxe. Check it out. Type it in, Punch It, PUNCH Deluxe, DELUXE, just like the way you're supposed to have your sandwiches at a diner. It's the best way to have them.
Deluxe.
Yeah, I want to give it one last plug, but I think we're gonna bounce out of here. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Peace. Oh, it's still recording. It says it's about to end though. So
I'm
scared.
It's ruined. Stop it. Turn it off.
End meeting.